208. My name is Hagen. That's Brett. Brought to you guys by Chinook Seedery. Use code SkippersView for 10% discount. Great seeds. Love every single flavor. Go get some for yourself. You'll enjoy them. I haven't met anyone that doesn't like them. And also, too, Dean's dropping a new analytics. So go check out the blog on the website on Skipper's View to check that out. Read all about it. It's a very cool stat, new analytics that he's making. For sure, check that out. It's a great blog as well. And let's dive into this here. Obviously, we got the title, the Yankees are getting hot here. And they are getting hot here. I mean, they just tied a franchise record with 9 runs in a single game versus Tampa Bay the other day, which, funny enough, they also did that earlier this year against the Milwaukee Brewers, the first series of the season this year, which is a great sign for the Yankees. Obviously, they're 8-2 in their last 10. You know, I know, everybody knows it, that since June 13th, before this little run here, they were one of the worst teams in all of baseball. I mean, the New York teams as a whole were just playing awful baseball. The base running, the defense, the pitching, the hitting, they just were not a good baseball team. I believe the Yankees were the 4th or 5th worst team since June 13th before they started this run. So it's good to see the Yankees getting hot now. I mean, the pitching's been a lot better. The hitting, especially the hitting's been, obviously, they just hit 9 home runs in a single game. And obviously it helps a lot, too. And I don't think it's crazy that this happened right when Aaron Judge comes back as well.
Yeah, Yankees are on a burner. It's awesome to see because, you know, every Yankee fan and their mother declared this team dead last week. But that's baseball. And I you know, today I was listening to my daily 20-some-odd podcast, and the best quote I heard about it was from John Boy, actually. And I think we forget how long the baseball season is sometimes. So, like, even now, when, you know, we have this little drought of not doing so hot. And when I say we, I mean the Yankees. I just think that we forget that, like, teams get in and out of it real quickly. Like, look at the Brewers. They just won 14, and then they go on to lose to the Cubs, central rival, who we had no, we thought the Cubs were dead. Kyle Tucker seems like we're going to talk about him in a second. But you know what I mean? Baseball is a long, weird season. All you got to do is catch fire at the right time. And the Yankees, still a little bit less than 6 weeks left, have some time to really get it together. Cam Schlittler flirted with with a perfect game last night. Who's to say? If Schlittler gets it, is able to continue putting out 6, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if he can go 6 innings, and Fried gets back to where he was at the beginning of the season with Rodon, Yarbrough is throwing, Luis Gil's, starting to really get back into MLB throwing. He's been out for a while, practically the entire season. So maybe the Yankees have some life, especially with the additions they made at the deadline. Maybe the bullpen additions come to pan out here. I got super scared last night with Devin Williams coming in for the save and extras. But yeah, Yankees are hot right now. And just back to Schlittler last night, 8 Ks, 1 hit. He went 6 innings perfect, though. He gave it up in the 6th inning. Bases got loaded and really, left the Yankees in a spot. So it was kind of miraculous to see Weaver clean it all up. Let's talk about Kyle Tucker, though. He's been in a slump, man.
Yeah, he's really been struggling here. And obviously, he just got benched amid this slump. And Craig Counsell came out and said that he's frustrated right now. And rightfully so. I mean, this is a guy who we're talking about before the season, that this guy could get $500 million. I mean, for the first week of the season, too, he's proven that. The first half of the season as well, 145 WRC plus. One of the best players in all of Major League Baseball, was firmly in the MVP conversation behind Shohei Ohtani, one of those top 5 guys you'd put in there. And in the second half, he's got a 77 WRC plus. He's got a slash line of 182, 333, 229, which comes out to a 572 OPS. He's on a very bad stretch right now, and probably why they brought Owen Casey up to get him some reps too a little bit while he's struggling right now. But we know the Cubs are going to be there in the postseason, so I think this is more just Kyle Tucker getting right, and obviously frustrating too, because this might be the worst stretch of baseball that Kyle Tucker's had in his major league career. I mean, this is a guy where, when he's healthy on the field, he's a top 10 to 20 player in all of Major League Baseball. He's never really been below that. So it's kind of crazy to see him struggling like this, but I feel comfortable about him figuring this out here soon. I hope the days off there help. You never really want to be benched, especially someone who's looking for $400, $500 million this offseason. But I'm really hoping that just taking a little bit of time off, maybe clearing the head a little bit, I hope that really helps him, because the Cubs are going to need him, especially down the stretch here in the postseason.
Yeah, you said it. His last 76 at bats, 184 average. He's not even hitting his weight. He's 544 OPS. He's OPSing 821 on the season, and he's OPSing 544 in this slump. Think about what that number would look like. His batting average is 261 on the season. Think about how much better the batting average is. He doesn't have his last 76 at bats. It's insane how bad he's been. Um, People I have heard potentially maybe there's an undisclosed injury going on. Maybe that's affecting him a little bit. We don't know. That's very hearsay. That was rumor talk. That's not like a thing, but just something to look out for. Like, who knows? Sometimes maybe he tweaks something and it's not worth an IL stint. It's not worth causing a big stir, but maybe he's not feeling right now is what I'm getting at.
I would tend to agree there too. There could be something that there's underlying that he's played through. Obviously, he's had his injury history in the past, a lot of fluke stuff there. So it could just be someone out there is just trying to stay out there, be healthy every single day, and maybe that's another reason why he got benched, and that maybe that isn't in the public. So we don't really know, but hopefully the best is coming here for Kyle Tucker because we know he's one of the best players in the whole world.
Absolutely. And I think that it's good transition to one of the other players who can be considered one of the best in the world, and that's Bobby Witt. Hagen, take us through Witt's week this week. He's had a massive week.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Witt, who's one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball, I still stand on the fact that if you could draft any player in Major League Baseball, start a franchise with, I will still stand on the fact that Bobby Witt Jr. is my pick there. And he just became the youngest role to hit 100 career home runs at 25 years old. His 100th career home run made him the youngest role to hit that mark at just 25 years old, and he's 66 days as well to add on to that, which broke Carlos Beltran's previous record at 26-year-old in 108 days, which was set all the way back in 2003. So it's been 22 years since this record's been broken. And obviously, we know how good Beltran had his career-wise. I mean, and he's joining elite company, too, by recording 100 homers and 100 stolen bases in his first 4 seasons. Became the 4th player in Major League Baseball history to do that in his first 4 seasons, joining Julio Rodriguez, Darryl Strawberry, and Bobby Bonds. That's a pretty good list to be on there with. I know Darryl Strawberry's career didn't end great, but obviously he was electric when he first came up there. Julio Rodriguez, we say like he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. I mean, he's on a down year. He's still going to put up 5 to 6 wins as a player. He's still one of the best players of all Major League Baseball, even a struggling season. So that's a great list to be on for Bobby Witt Jr. and one of the most talented players in all of Major League Baseball. And honestly, he's kind of having a quiet season as well, too. I know it's only a 129 WRC plus, which for him sounds a little low, but he already has 6 F4 right now. I mean, he's going to put up a very quiet 7 more season, which if you look at Fangraphs and what WAR is, that's an MVP level season.
The crazy thing to me, it's like you're saying it's quiet, which it is. And this is what I really took away. When I put this down on the agenda and threw up those 4 guys that have done the 2020 seasons, 4 straight seasons to start their MLB careers. We know Bonds, we know Strawberry. Julio Rodriguez and Bobby Witt are the other 2 guys to do this. They're both active, and they're both under the age of 25. Let that sink in. We've barely talked about Bobby Witt and Julio Rodriguez on the show this year. It's been Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Cal Raleigh, it feels like. That. And, this is how good baseball is right now, people. Like, we have 2 guys out of the 4 guys to ever do this. 2 of them are walking the earth playing active Major League Baseball today. And they're under, I think it's 25. It might be 26. Fact check me on that if you want to. But Bobby Witt is doing insane things to me and to see this. And Bobby Witt's 25. I believe Julio's under the age of 25. Bobby Witt's having the best season, arguably, of it. Like, look at his career batting average, 289. He's hitting 294 in the year. His career OPS, 844. He's hitting 852 OPS on the year. His slug's a little down for his career by 0.04 points. Bobby Witt here, if you look, he's definitely down on triples, but home runs, it's just some stellar to watch. Home runs, stolen bases. He's going to have another 2020 season easily. He's probably going to have closer to 25 and 40 when it's all said and done between home runs and stolen bases this year. It's a crazy, crazy season. And it's so under talked about. Exactly what you're saying. Like, it's a quiet season, even though it's not. Bobby Witt's, he's also doing this while batting 300 right now. Like, that's insane.
I mean, it's just crazy too because, I mean, even just checking the leaderboards here, Bobby Witt he's third in baseball in F4. I don't mean to be the F4 guy here and just keep saying that stat, but this shows how great of a defender he is too. I mean, last I checked, he was in the top 3%, I believe, in defensive value in all of baseball. He's a phenomenal shortstop. You just talked about the offense and how good he's been this year, which for him is nothing compared to what he was doing last year too. I mean, he was the second best player in all of baseball last year. I guess third behind Judge and Ohtani, but we know Judge is the best hitter since Bonds, and we know that Ohtani is the best player to ever play this game, arguably. So it's just crazy to see how good Bobby Wood is, and it's almost like he's becoming underrated a bit, which is kind of crazy to say, I feel like.
Bobby Witt's going to be that guy because, like, he's coming in at the tail end, not in the tail end, like the mid to end peaks of Judge and Ohtani. Like, and I know people are going to be out there, like, what is he talking about? Ohtani and Judge are both in their 30s. Let's be real, right? Like, the prime only lasts for so long. Mother time catches up with everyone, unless they're both blessed with the Tom Brady effect here, which odds are they aren't, right? Point being, Bobby Witt's now 25, Julio Rodriguez 25. You got guys like Corbin Carroll and guys like Cal Raleigh. I'm trying to think who else is like young, and like Jackson Churio is going nowhere. Like he's been injured. He's a young stud. You have other guys coming up who are going to be fantastic. The Gunnar Hendersons of the world as well in the AL. Bobby Witt, he's going to be like Lindor to me. How many times do you think he's going to get snubbed of like an MVP or an All-Star game in his career? I have a feeling like he's just going to get snubbed with a lot of MVP awards.
I mean, it's just hard because, I mean, as long as Judge is keeping up this pace, it's really hard to win over Aaron Judge unless there becomes voter fatigue in baseball, which we really haven't seen too much recently in history. But it's kind of hard, too, because we saw how good he was last year. And obviously, Aaron Judge is doing in stuff we have not seen in 25 years. And like you said, I like the Lindor comparison, too, because if you just look last year, Judge and Ohtani were pretty clearly the MVPs back there. But you look and it's like Bobby Witt and Lindor had phenomenal seasons that any other year that's pretty much winning an MVP for him. And Bobby, it's just crazy. That shows how good and how talented Major League Baseball is at this point. And your point as well, too. I mean, he's 25 years old. Judge and Ohtani are in their 30s. So if you just want to go by the age curve, like Bobby Witt has 3 or 4 years until he hits his prime and age year wise.
You cut out there a little bit, but like you got to think about it. Like in the American League, like Junior Caminero is going nowhere. Like he's going to be lingering all Bobby Witt's career, and he's just getting better by the day. Wyatt Langford, let's say he puts it all together. He's lurking in the American League too. And like, I just have a gut feeling that like Bobby Witt, because he's so consistent, you got to like you have to have those big pop out years to win MVPs. And like right now, the only challenger in the American League for Aaron Judge is Cal Raleigh. And it's going to be like the first catcher to, break 60 home runs potentially. 2, be the all-time single season leader in home runs for that position in order to like supersede Judge for MVP right now. And like, that's still a long shot for him to do. It's crazy. Bobby Witt is so talented. I want his autograph so bad. So bad. I want his autograph. Let's jump though. Let's talk about some National League pitching, because we had a few guys go off this week in the National League. And let's start with Philadelphia. Christopher Sanchez, 12 Ks in his last outing. He is truly building an NL Cy Young case. If you look at his last 2.5 months, 1.94 ERA since the start of June. Easily the best in the majors. Paul Skeens is second with a 2.17, so almost like a 0.2 higher ERA during that time span. The other day in this outing, 96.3% of the pitches he threw were strikes. It's the highest by any Phillies pitcher since 2000 to face at least a minimum of 15 batters. The record was by Cliff Lee and Hagen. I don't know if Cliff Lee's up your alley. Cliff Lee was a dog in the day, dude. Do you remember that Phillies rotation with Carpenter, Cliff Lee, and Roy Halladay?
I was too young to watch it, but I've definitely looked back a few times and just looked at how crazy that team was.
You want to have a good Friday night, dude. Get a 6-pack and watch some Cliff Lee highlights. I'm telling you, man. That's a good night, man. Cliff Lee was a dog. So like Cliff Lee, lefty. It's a crazy that he's in the same stratosphere right now, Christopher Sanchez as Cliff Lee. Because Cliff Lee, when I was like in high school, when he was pitching, Cliff Lee was looked upon as like a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball. People are not looking at Christopher Sanchez as a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball right now. That's the difference. But he's pitching like him.
I mean, he is pitching like a top 5 pitcher in baseball, and I think he is a top 5 pitcher in baseball this year. And you said at the beginning, too, he's building a Cy Young case, and the betting odds reflect that, too. If you just want to go on the odds, Paul Skeens here, he's minus 470, so a pretty heavy favorite, but we can see that down the stretch there. If he has a couple bad starts, that can change. Second place right now is Christopher Sanchez at plus 300. After that, it drops off to Matthew Boyd at plus 4,500. So the books are saying right now that it's a 2-horse race now that Wheeler's down, that it's between Skeens and Sanchez here for the Cy Young. And if Sanchez keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, that changeup is ridiculous. He seems like he's getting 10 whiffs on it every single time he pitches out there. And Skeens, too, if he has a little bit of a blow-up start there, obviously the ERA can get a lot closer. I know he's 0.3 runs behind him in ERA-wise right now, and a 2.16 compared to a 2.46. The FIP's still pretty close, too. We could see Christopher Sanchez winning a Cy Young here if Paul Skeens has a couple bad starts down the road.
And it's like, honestly, for Philly, like it's been a rough week with Juan Duran getting carted off the field, who you just got in the deadline. He's going to be fine. But you just have Wheeler undergo, Nola just got back. And now Wheeler, I mentioned on the last podcast on Tuesday when it was fresh, his timetable, he might not be pitch again. One of the best, he might not pitch again this season. He might never pitch again. No one knows. He's dealing with a blood clot. That, I think he just got attended to this week in terms of, I don't know if it was a surgery or procedure or whatever, but this is scary stuff. And Phillies right now, they just finished the best season arguably in the history of their organization. So they had 21 hits Monday night in the series opener, and they had another 20 hits in the series finale. Trey Turner had 5 hits. Schwarber added 3. You got Schwarber now leading the National League with 40. He hit his 45th bomb in this series against Miami. They unloaded, and they had 48 hits in 3 games. Sorry, against the Mariners, not Miami. I read that wrong. So it's tied for the 6th most in any 3-game series in franchise history, and the most since racking up 50 against the Cubs back in 1999. Phillies right now, they are picking up, the guys who are down, and Zach Wheeler. Like, that's a devastating blow, especially at this time of the year. There's, like I said earlier, there's less than 6 weeks left, less than 40 games left in the season. We don't know if the best pitcher in playoffs right now in Major League Baseball is going to be able to pitch in the playoffs this year in baseball, which sucks. Kudos to Sanchez, Christopher Sanchez, though, for picking up the slack. And, Hagen, what do you got to say on Philly? Obviously, you're a Mets fan dealing with them right now in the division.
I think Philly, I don't think it's crazy to say they've already won the division. Obviously, they still have 7 games head-to-head with the Mets here, which I think will ultimately come down to deciding the division. Obviously, if the Mets go a crazy run there. But, Philly's just a wagon right now. You said it. Wheeler's out right now, which hurts, especially when he's arguably the best postseason pitcher ever. Obviously, he is in this generation right now. But Bryce Harper's starting to heat up again. Me and you both at the beginning of the year were very high on Bryce Harper. Thought he was going to have a very good year. Obviously, the power was in there for a little bit, but he's heating up now. He's getting hot. He's doing Bryce Harper things. Kyle Schwarber just hit a home run in 15 straight series, set a Phillies franchise record. Kyle Schwarber right now is looking like he's going to finish second MVP voting behind the best player ever in Shohei Ohtani. That's how good Kyle Schwarber is being as a DH. We're going to have a DH followed behind a DH looking like most likely in the National League MVP conversation. It's crazy how good this Philly lineup is. Trey Turner's been one of the most underrated players in all of baseball this year. You could argue him and Bobby Witt are the 2 best shortstops in all of baseball this year. You could probably make an argument for Trey Turner to say he is the best this year. This team is so good, especially you have Yohan Duran's fine. You'll have him closing out games there too. David Robertson's there now. You have Ryan Kerkering there too. They have a lot of stuff in that bullpen, and stuff will play well in the postseason. I know they haven't had the bullpen struggled last year in the playoffs, but if you look at it too, that was really only a 4-game sample size they had, which if you just have a bad couple games of baseball, the playoffs is over for you. So Philly, I've always said, is built for the postseason, and they are not a team I want to run into. And especially as a Mets fan, I do not like looking at Philly and looking up at them in the division.
If I told you this was a top 5 season for Schwarber in terms of batting average at 253, would you believe me or would you say I'm lying?
I would say top 3, honestly.
Okay, so his top season was back in 2020. Oh, no. Sorry. That's combined. So 266 in 2021. He batted 250. Oh, no, that was the same year. Yeah, this is a top 3 season for him in terms of batting average at 253. He's stolen 10 bags. He's got 45 bombs. He's got 109 RBIs on the year already, slugging 584 with a 957 OPS. Schwarber is unreal this year. I never, usually you heard the last few seasons, that June or July Schwarber's coming where he's going to go off for a bunch of home runs. It's been happening all year. And do you know his career high in home runs for a season?
I believe it's around 48.
It's 47 back in 2023. He's 2 away from beating that record, and we got 5-6 weeks left of baseball. So unless he goes on the coldest streak of his career right now, Schwarber's not only probably a lock for 50 plus home runs, he's going to probably have another 30 RBIs. And he's just having a magnificent season for Philly. Let's talk about your Mets a little bit.
It's true.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just saying, it's absolutely crazy what he's doing right now, especially where, I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers historically, but this has got to go down as one of the greatest DH seasons of all time.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your Mets because David Peterson threw himself a gem this week. Did you get to tune into that start?
That was actually the one game of this series that I actually missed, which I was a little pissed off about just because David Peterson has kind of became the horse of that rotation for him. Obviously, that was the 5th time this season that a Mets pitcher has pitched into the 8th inning. David Peterson has been the only one to do that. He's all 5 times the one that does that. There's 12 times Mets starters pitched into the 7th inning this year. 8 of those are David Peterson. It's insane what this guy's doing. Like last year, it was Sean Manaea that was carrying him down the stretch, being the workhorse, where he was going 7-8 innings every single time out there. This year, it's David Peterson. He went through a little blip for a few starts, but now that he's back, he's dealing. I mean, he almost threw a complete game shutout there. He lost a little bit on a 1st and 3rd with 1 out, but it's awesome. Obviously, the Mets pitching staff has been, to say the least, since June. Obviously, being they're last in innings since June 13th. They're one of the worst in ERA. It's no pitcher. I mean, since I believe June 3rd, David Peterson is the only Mets pitcher to pitch into the 6th inning. It's absurd what he's doing compared to the rest of the staff. And you need someone in this, especially when you can't last that long in a season if your starters are giving you 5 innings every single day. I don't care how good your bullpen is. They're going to get fatigued. And we're seeing it with the Mets bullpen now. We talked about it being the 2nd or 3rd best bullpen in all of baseball since the deadline. They've struggled because the Mets starting pitching can't give anything for them. They can't go into the 6th inning. They can't go into the 7th inning for him. David Peterson's the only one that does that, which is huge. Bullpen, give him a little bit of a break there. So then he handed off to Edwin Diaz or Ryan Helsley, whatever. So it's awesome to see David Peterson doing this.
Yeah. I honestly, I pulled some of those stats about Peterson in this year. 5 times a Mets starter's done this. 5 times it's been Peterson. That is called carrying the team on your back, especially when you've had injuries to the bullpen, to the rotation. Correct me wrong. How much time has Senga missed? How much time has Sean Manaea missed this year? Right. A ton of starts between the two of them. And Peterson, a guy that does not have the brand name of a Kodai Senga or even a Sean Manaea for that matter. I would say David Peterson amongst baseball amateur fans has the least popular name. You know what I mean? More people would be able to say Sean Manaea or Senga is an MLB pitcher. David Peterson, such a normal name, but people just don't know how good he is.
I think you're 100% correct. And I think a lot of people that aren't big into baseball or aren't very familiar with David Peterson, I think he's going to shock a lot of people when these votings come out in November, whenever the voting for the Cy Young and the MVPs come out. You're going to see him in the top 10 for Cy Young voting, most likely. And I think it's going to shock a lot of people.
I I'm trying to think. You got Skeens, Sanchez. Let's go through the
Webb,
NL real
Boyd,
quick. Webb. No one on the
Boyd,
Dodgers.
Yamamoto's got to be there.
Yamamoto, sorry.
Andrew Abbott's still having a phenomenal year.
Yeah, but I feel like Pearson's having a better year. Maybe Pavetta.
I think Pavetta's going to be
I
there in
don't
that
know.
top
He
10
might
as
be
long.
top five. The reason why I pose this, he might be top five when it's all said and done. If you look at innings pitched this year, Pearson right now, he's top 15 innings pitched, and his whip compared to, his people who qualify here, I'm trying to find it real quick. He is also top 15. So he's not giving up lots of walks and hits. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious to see because this has American League mixed in as well. Oh no, it's just National League. But Peterson right now, in terms of quality starts, he's tied for eighth with 15. The leader is Christopher Sanchez. Like Peterson has a chance to take a Cy Young home if other pitchers fall off the face of the earth for a couple weeks and Peterson keeps shoving. But I would love to see that for New York. Would love to see it.
I mean, I think at this point, anyone will just take a top 10 to a 15 just for how atrocious this pitching has been for 2.5 months now.
Yeah. Let's talk about a pitcher not going to win a Cy Young, but his last month has been disgusting, and that's Hurston Waldrop of the Atlanta Braves. So he's had a .73 ERA in August. His last 4 starts, he has 4 wins and 3 quality starts. He has 7 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts. So he's got 24 strikeouts in his last 4 games. Hurston Waldrop, I think he's found some, Hagen. Do you have faith in the young Atlanta hurler here?
I mean, I do. I even saw, obviously, just Braves fans online just saying that Waldrop might have found it now. He might have found the success at the major league level. Last year, obviously, a small stint of only 7 innings. Not going very good at all, 16.7 ERA. But this year in 24 innings, he's got a .73 ERA. He's been cooking this year, which is kind of one of the good things, too, for where the Braves are at in an organization this year. You're out of it, so you can give a guy like Waldrop time to go up there and let him get comfortable at the big league level. So if he does continue to do this, he's ready to go next year, and you don't have to worry about finding this next year and going through a little cold to find his groove.
Yeah. And this is it's like Waldrop is the reason why, like, I can at least, now that some time has happened after the deadline, where I can give Anthopoulos a little credit to not sell the house. Like, he should have sold Ozuna, should have sold Iglesias. But like Chris Sale, I get it. Why you didn't move him? You weren't going to get the value for him. On top of, you're not paying that many guys, and this lineup, Acuna is going to be a top 5 player next year. You got Olsen, you got Riley, who just went down for the rest of the year. You got guys like Michael Harris starting to bang again, and now you got guys like Hurston Waldrop, and it's like, God willing, AJ Smith-Shawver puts it together. They got guys like J.R. Ritchie in the prospect system. Or the farm system, I should say. Like, maybe Atlanta, I know we've said it for the last 3, this is now year 2 of bad years in a row. But like next year going forward, the status quo doesn't change. Their core is talented. It's very talented. And they have all these guys next year. So with Strider, he's working back from a massive surgery. And that's not even including like Schwellenbach, who went down too. Like, they've had so many injuries and just big time injuries, and the team has not been in sync for 2 years, and it really sucks to see like so many talented guys on one team not work out together. Unless you're a Mets fan.
And I'll go out and say even as a Mets fan, I can agree that the Atlanta Braves are very talented. I'm very high on them this year. I have a bet for the Braves to have won the division and the Mets to have taken 3rd place. Obviously, that's changed a little bit, but I'll just say it now. I think the Braves are going to have the biggest increase in wins compared to 2025, compared to next season at 2026. And that's just, I think, just knowing they're going to have guys healthy and they're not going to be awful to start the year.
Yeah. That was a bad bet. That was a bad bet. I'm sorry. Um, let's talk about Toronto. Then we're going to talk about Pittsburgh, and then we're going to talk about Toronto and Pittsburgh because something happened in their series this week. But let's start off with Toronto. Shane Bieber, Hagen. Is Shane Bieber a difference maker for Toronto the rest of the season, or he's been out too long? He won't make much of a change for them. Let's hear your take.
I don't know if I would say a huge difference maker, like it just immediately gets there because, yeah, Shane Bieber last time he was on the field, obviously he had those 2 starts last year. It was phenomenal. It was the best pitcher of baseball through the first 2 weeks. But he's coming off Tommy John, and we're seeing guys like Sandy this year, for example, where we just expect these guys to get back to where they were before Tommy John, which is hard to, especially a guy like Shane Bieber, where he's going to be throwing 92, 93 miles an hour. If his location's off a little bit, which a lot of these Tommy John guys are, it takes him about a year and a half a year, whatever it is, to get that location back and dialed in. If he misses that a little bit, if he's missing his spots just slightly compared to what he normally is, he's not going to be Shane Bieber of what he was. So I think it's hard to bank on him to be what he was when he was healthy last, and the Cy Young Shane Bieber, because he's coming off Tommy John. He's another year older. But you also, I'm not saying that he's not going to be great because I still am very high on Shane Bieber. I think he could be a huge push for this Toronto team where the Yankees have made, they're only 4 games back on him now. I mean, they can change that. That can change in a week if there's a bad week and a good week there. So I think Shane Bieber, and I think too, he also adds life to that clubhouse where the team knows that, hey, at the deadline, the front office went and they bought because they believed in this team. And you get hyped when you got like Shane Bieber, a Cy Young winner in that team. And when he makes it to that locker room there, you feel really good because you know, hey, this guy's here to help us win. And he wants to win a World Series. And we want to win a World Series too. We got to win the division to get there first. So I think it'll be a good boost for the locker room as well.
Yeah. I think Shane Bieber, I don't know what it is. I haven't believed in Toronto all year. I never believe in Toronto ever. It's not me being a pompous Yankee fan. It's more of just like, you kind of got to win in order to like establish that credit. Like, oh yeah, you're a World Series contender. It's like, no. When's the last time Toronto's made the World Series? Right? Who is their last, when's their last dominant run of like a team where it's like, oh, Toronto's scary. And like, yeah, it might be this year. This year might be the year. Springer having a renaissance year. Guerrero Jr., Bichette is bounced back real strong. I just don't know. And like guys like Addison Barger, like, behind these like superstars, in front of him, I shouldn't call them superstars, all stars. Maybe Guerrero Jr. is a superstar at this point. But the point is, this might be Toronto's year, and that's why I'm buying into Bieber. Because like Toronto's looked really good. And they're up in the division right now by 4 games. Toronto's hoping for the Yankees and the Red Sox just to beat up on each other this weekend in this 4-game series coming up. Yankees are playing right now, and who knows what's going to happen out of there. All I know is Toronto, they have a worse run differential than the Yankees or Red Sox. The Yankees are plus 111. The Red Sox are plus 90. Toronto's only plus 53. So if Toronto, they have a large grip, but with Shane Bieber now injected into this roster, I think that maybe it is Toronto's year to hold on to the division and maybe go on to the American League Championship Series this year, advance and maybe make the All-Star game. Sorry, not the All-Star game, make the World Series finally. I don't love the bullpen for them, but Kevin Gausman, Berrios, Chris Bassett, they're all pitching decently for Toronto right now. And then, Jeff Hoffman, obviously, he's got 27 saves, but it's just not the prettiest 27 saves. He's got a 4.15 ERA closing them out. I don't trust that. Like, for a closer, no, sir. But I think Toronto could be for real. Let's talk about sorry, what were you going to say?
So you said earlier, when was the last time a Toronto team was this good, this dominant? I think back to, I believe it was the 2015, 2016, whatever team that was, when they had MVP Donaldson on that team, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, David Price, Troy Tulowitzki. Like that's the last I remember the Blue Jays being the real deal like this, at least in my mind, last time I felt the same way about them. And then also you talked about how Bo Bichette's been great this year. Just quick shout out to Nick's picks because obviously he got Bo Bichette at 80-1 to lead the league in hits. Got me on him. I'm on there at 40-1 for him to lead the league in hits. He is tied at 157 hits with Trey Turner right now with around 35 games to play.
Yeah. The Blue Jays, they won 2 titles. Do you know what years they won?
Just on the Joe Carter, I couldn't tell you the years.
1992, 1993. You want to know why that's relevant in this conversation, Hagen? The World Series is played when?
What?
I'm saying
October.
So October 1993, October 23rd was the last date of that World Series. That means by 4 days, it beat me. I was born 4 days later. I'm turning 32 this year. Toronto has not been in the World Series since 1993, and I'm turning 32. So there you go. My entirety of that I've been alive, Toronto has not been in the World Series. Kind of crazy.
Pretty crazy to think about.
Yes. I'll double check that as we keep moving forward. Why don't you take us into Pittsburgh and their exciting call up?
Yeah, I mean, Bubba Chandler, he's finally getting the call. We've all been waiting on this one all year long. We thought it was even after the first month and a half of the season to get the extra year of service time, we were going to get that call up there. And we never did. And now we finally get that here after that August 16th deadline now where they can preserve his rookie status, have him next year, and get a draft pick if he wins Rookie of the Year next year, which he certainly can. And obviously, Bubba Chandler, according to Pipeline, he's the 7th best prospect in all of Major League Baseball. The number 1 pitching prospect. The stuff is unreal. I know the AAA stats aren't the greatest this year. He struggled a little bit with his command, but Bubba Chandler's the real deal. I've been stashing him in fantasy since the draft. I've waited 120 games for this guy to come up to help my team here. I mean, Bubba Chandler is the real deal, and he's going to be an exciting guy to watch on this Pirates team, which we already talked about before. It's a story about the Pirates. This offense isn't exciting at all to watch. You don't ever want to turn on the game to watch the offense, but you do want to turn on to watch the pitching for the Pirates.
Dude, he's got 121 strikeouts in 100 innings in the minors this year through 24 starts. Like, I do like to see that. The only thing, you know what my big regret is? I didn't get to go see him play in Indy. He plays his minor league ball here in the city. I didn't get to see him pitch this year before he got the call, which is shame on me. It's far enough in the season. I should have gone way in advance. I did with Skeens. I got his autograph.
I was going to say, at least you got Skeens there. You got the better one.
Yeah, now I do have an autograph of they got one other pitcher. I'll pull his name up in a second, but I got an autograph from him, and Aram Layden believes in him. So I'm like, all right. Maybe I gotta go get his auto too, because maybe he explodes on the scene. Who knows? Aram's pretty good with his prospects. Let's talk about Pittsburgh, Toronto, though. Did you see this debacle between Tommy Pham and Tyler Heineman?
I did, and it seems like and I love Tommy Pham. I am a big Tommy Pham truther out there, but it seems like we get one of these from Tommy Pham every year now.
Yeah, Pham's always, and he loves his altercations. Like, no one loves a good, verbal altercation like Tommy Pham. So what happened here was Tommy Pham, essentially, he got chippy with the catcher. He complained that the umpire's call on the pitch was clearly out of the zone, and he didn't like that, how Heineman barked at him. He called it disrespectful, not only to the umpire, but the hitter as well. And this was Heineman. And then Pham said, F him. He's pretty blunt about it. And Tommy Pham does not seem to like Tyler Heineman too much. But it was just your typical, like you said, we're good for this once every 3 months, it seems like, with Tommy Pham at this point, of just getting at some sort of chippy altercation. And that's fine. He's he's a competitor. He's a competitor.
I think competitor is probably the best way to put it. Is this guy is a true competitor. Obviously, if you're not familiar with his background, you should look into that a little bit. But This is also a guy too. Like he said it there in his post game media conference after this. He's saying there's a reason I train in the off season, the reason I box in the off season. He's like, don't F with me.
Yeah, like Tommy Pham's a guy that I'm not messing with. And as you said right at the deadline a couple weeks ago, Tommy Pham should have been moved. He should have been moved. There's not any playoff contending team that can't use a Tommy Pham platooning somewhere in their lineup. He'll fight for you. He is a boy's boy. I think that this guy, if he's in your corner, he's a good person to have standing in your corner. By the way, the pitcher was Xander Muth.
Yeah.
Do you know Xander Muth?
In their single A?
Yeah, he's single A, 6'6", 205. He's 20 years old. I have his auto. He's right now. He's got a 6.580 ERA through 12 starts this year. Not great. Uh-oh.
I just want to add on quick, just Tommy Pham. I know there's been a lot of Tommy Pham discourse out here, and I'm not trying to defend him by any means here, but Tommy Pham is a great guy for the players and the Players Association as well, obviously, especially with the young guys. He's trying to educate these young guys on their contract manipulation stuff that happens to them. And just kind of being a big leaguer, too. I think he does a really good job in educating these young guys and helping get acclimated to the big leagues and kind of understand how do you stay in this game for a long time? How do you make sure you're set up after this game so you're set for life? And if you're not set for life and you don't make it to that 10-year service time, whatever it is, then how do you set yourself up to be good financially and good in a good spot after you get out of baseball? So I do like how Tommy Pham does that.
Yeah. And finally, we've had a little anger management in baseball this week because this is probably the last big talking point I want to get into with. Dude, if anyone hasn't been paying attention, Seattle Mariners outfielder, he's right now in the minor leagues, Victor Robles, he's suspended for 10 games for throwing a bat at a pitcher. I can pull up the video if you want. I don't think it does it doesn't do it justice for what the significance is. Like, you threw a bat at an opponent for playing a game. And for anyone who doesn't know the background, so he's been hit 5 times in 15 at bats. So he's trying to rehab, trying to get back up to the majors. And he quote unquote, he said he reacted in a way he's not proud of. Of course he's not. He threw a freaking bat at someone. Only a madman does that. Hagen, since 2005, when he joined, the Mariners last year from Washington, and he slashed 328, 393, and 467. He's had 4 bombs, 26 RBIs, 30 stolen bases in those 77 games. What do you do if you're the commissioner? Because we've seen, you're probably too young for this too. Remember when Roger Clemens threw a bat at Mike Piazza? I know you're a Mets fan. Do you recall, that was an insane play when that happened. It's super dangerous. It's literally assault with a deadly weapon.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's not even like this is just a baseball thing on the line, because let's say, worst case, obviously we know what happened and he didn't hit him, but if you hit a dude with the bat, he could sue you and you could get legal charges against that. I mean, I was really curious to see what his suspension would be, just because I honestly thought 10 games was pretty light for throwing a bat at somebody. That's 10 games, 12, 11 games he's really going to miss, which I guess about a third of the season left, which it plays a lot. But you think throwing a bat at someone for 10 games, isn't the sticky stuff substance 10-game suspension too? So if you get caught using sticky stuff on your hands, it's the same as if you throw a bat at the player. I think that's a little crazy.
Think about this. If you get caught using PEDs, and Noel V. Marte, Reds third baseman, just got caught with this earlier this year. He served an 80-game suspension, or 82, whatever it was, half the season. Dude, he cheated. You're attacking someone with a weapon that could cause a fatality. If you hit him in the head, they're not looking. I know people are like, oh, that's exaggerated. It's not. It is not. If a bat hits you in the head on accident, it doesn't have to be thrown at 90 miles an hour to kill you. I think that this goes forward. Like, you should be suspended the rest of the season. I don't know how to police this, because like, what's the difference if you throw a bat in May compared to throwing a bat now, right? The sentence is way shorter, but like, maybe a full baseball, like calendar year, like you're suspended for 162 games, like at the major league level or whatever it is. Like, and people can say that's harsh. Like, that is just so over the top, unnecessary. It's not a good look. It's an anger issue. And I understand that the pitcher, by the way, I don't know if you heard this about it, Joey Estes, who threw the pitch, supposedly that's his third time plunking Robles in his career. So it's like a lot of familiarity with like hitting him, but it's like, you know, it's not on purpose. Like, I don't think it's on purpose. Like, why would Joey Estes, like, of all people, one guy who plays for the Athletics, be plunking Victor Robles? I don't understand that.
A guy who has struggled in the major leagues and he's trying to get back to the major leagues, so he's going to purposely hit somebody in a AAA game that, in all honesty, means nothing for what his goal is to make it back to the major leagues. And I just think it's crazy, too, because then I wonder, if you actually hit him with the bat, what would the suspension be then? Because it's still going to be 10? Because now I think, too, if I'm a player, I'm not saying I'd be one of the dudes to be throwing a bat at a dude, but you kind of realize that I bet there's been a lot of times that people want to throw the bat at the pitcher when they get hit with the pitch. Yeah, you realize I'm only out for a week and a half. I really want to do it. That obviously comes with a fine too, but you know you're not going to be out for that long, because they kind of just set the bar there that if someone else does this, it's going to be 10 games.
Yeah, he went to the dugout, threw like the bucket full of sunflower seeds, which like some sort of like janitorial manager, field operations guy has got to clean up. It's like, screw you, Victor Robles. Like, I know you were heated, but like, it's like, I loved, like, before the whole cheating thing, I loved Roger Clemens. Him throwing that bat at Mike Piazza really made me like evaluate what I think about Roger Clemens, because it's not the same. I don't respect him the way I used to respect Roger Clemens. It's just such a dirty move, like throwing a bat at someone. It's literally insane to think about. Like, if you went like to take a bat, people like defend their homes from home intruders with bats, not against someone they're playing a sport with. To put it in perspective, you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone breaks my house, I'm taking the bat out. Like,
if it was you would probably take one of your lacrosse sticks and use that instead. But at your point, the bat would definitely be one of the first things for.
No, that, it could be. The lacrosse sticks are right next to the bed. So, let's talk about some news and injuries. Hey, you want to run us down the first few, and then I'll jump in?
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he considered day-to-day with hamstring inflammation. Underwent MRI, luckily revealed there was no structural damage, so he should be back here by the end of the week, hopefully. And Aaron Judge, he's unlikely to throw again normally in 2025, the Yankees manager Aaron Boone said. He's recovering from a flexor strain in his right arm that kept him out for a little bit of time. Obviously, we saw that, and the Yankees were not playing that great at all when he was out during that time, but it's good now that he's at least back in the lineup now for them, which is good. One that sucks here, Felix Bautista, who obviously was coming off Tommy John surgery this year and struggling a little bit this year as well. He underwent major shoulder surgery, and he's going to repair a torn rotator cuff and a torn labrum, which is just awful to hear. That means he's going to miss the rest of 2025, and they announced most of the 2026 season as well. So look back, 2027 would probably be great, but it just sucks to see from a guy who we know can be one of the nastiest closers in all of baseball, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, but now he just tore his UCL, had to fix his rotator cuff and a labrum. That's probably the three worst places you can hurt your arm and shoulder as a pitcher, which you don't want to hear at all. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani, he exited with the right thigh contusion. Expect to be in the lineup tomorrow. Obviously, shouldn't be anything too big for him. Brendan Donovan, he was placed on the 10-day IL with a strained left groin, which sucks for a Cardinals team that's still fighting for a postseason spot. I believe around 4 or 5 games out right now. With the struggling Mets team and the Reds team just there too, I mean, they could still go on a run, so that hurts them a little bit. And speaking of the Mets too, Francisco Alvarez, he was just placed on the 10-day IL with the right thumb UCL sprain. Could be season ending, but they announced that he will be evaluated in a couple of weeks to decide if he can return to play due to the pain. Surgery is for sure required. He's going to get that at least at the end of the season, no matter what. They said it will take him. He'll be back by spring training if he does get that, so don't have to worry about that at all. But they're going to evaluate him in 10 to 14 days. Hopefully he can try to get back by the end of the season because he's been great since he came back from being called up from AAA this year. He's been one of the best hitters in all of Major Baseball since then. Mark Canha, one of my favorite players, dear to my heart. He was DFA'd after being activated from the 10-day AL from the Kansas City Royals. Sucks for him. I hope somebody picks him up. I know he's been struggling a little bit recently, had a down year, but guy can play multiple positions for you. He can play first, he can play third, he can play left. I'm not saying he can play them all great, but he could be a good platoon bat off the bench for a team that just kind of needs to fill in a little spot there. And then Houston, too. Houston, obviously, we talked about it last episode. Josh Hader is going to be out for a while, hoping to come back in the postseason. To fill in for him, they signed Craig Kimbrell, who hasn't made an appearance yet in the big leagues this year. So I'm curious to see how Craig Kimbrell will look for them. Obviously, last couple of years, he's been very shaky. Fans of teams that he's been on have not been very fond of him. But I'm curious to see if Houston can get something out of him here, because I think what you're really hoping for, you can't expect him to go out there and just turn into your closer by any means, but kind of just fill a spot in that bullpen and not be awful.
Yeah. I didn't even see Craig Kimbrell got signed, so thank you for adding this. That I'm not saying he's going to be nasty, but it's like, it's Houston. Of course it's going to put fear in me. Like, Craig Kimbrell's proven to be a solid closer. Obviously hasn't been late as of late, but who knows? Who knows? We're not asking him to be an everyday player, just fill in relief, especially while they, deal and tend to this Hader injury. One last take before we close out here. So, this week in baseball, a program from the Baseball Centennial and the first induction of the Hall of Fame in 1939. So think the first Hall of Fame class. I don't know if everyone out there understands, and I got it right here, who, is in the first Hall of Fame class. We're talking Ty Cobb, Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner. These are the biggest names in baseball history, some of these guys. And, it was insane. So a program from that, day was signed by all these guys. So this is similar to, were we talking about this, or I was talking about it with, here, I'll come back to that conversation about Brady. I do have a Brady autograph story, but look at this thing that I'm showing. So Darren Ravel put this out. Look at these autographs on their pictures, and Ty Cobb signed twice. Look how cool this is. Isn't this insane?
You can just tell it's old from almost just it is.
$315,000. You know what that gets you in Fishers, Indiana? They gets you a nice house in Fishers, Indiana. So it's crazy that this sold for this price. The previous record was a 1903 World Series program that sold for $241,500 back in 2011. So the program was signed by all 11 living inductees at the time. So we, not only that, we also had Trish Speaker on there, Grover Alexander, Nat LaHoy, George Sisler, Eddie Collins, and Connie Mack. Some of the biggest names ever. Really cool. Happy forever for had this. This is why you collect your baseball memorabilia and you hold on to it and take care of it. That's it for me. Hagen, got anything else before we close out?
I do just have to shout out here. Nick Kurtz and Shea Langoliers have been the two best players in all of Major League Baseball here in the second half. They're both slugging over 800 right now. They're 2 in WRC plus and F4 in the second half. Shea Langoliers, too. He has 16 home runs in the second half right now. It's absurd what these guys are doing for the A's.
Shea Bangoliers?
Yeah, Shea Bangoliers, exactly.
I love that nickname.
So it's just great to see them do that. I mean, combined, they're slugging 1,600.
Yeah. Well, that's all from me. Go check out the website for new blogs. Go check out Dean's new analytic website. It's super cool. I will have a couple. I told them in the group I would have a piece out yesterday. Didn't happen. I have 2 pieces though that I'm working on tonight. So I'm going to have a Marvel night, put together some baseball. get these out there for the weekend. We'll be back with you Sunday. Thank you for listening. Peace.